And I would like to start with this picture. For many years I hide it because I didn't want to show it, but I show it for you now. This moment was, I think, very important for me. I realize that now. I think I'm about 12, 13 years old. This is on Fårö, north of Gotland in Sweden. And me and my friend, we were so proud that we caught all those fishes. You see what it is? We didn't know, they were big and huge. And there were actually people stopping by when we were piling up all the fish, and the kids helped us to kill the fish. And their parents, mothers and fathers, they were all get applause when we caught the fish. And we were so proud, until suddenly, in the crowd, I heard, "What are you doing?" I turned around, and there was my father. And I was so embarrassed. My father said that to me. And he explained to me that in our family, we don't eat eye. And shall you kill all the fish in the sea? This might be a whole family of fish. Are you crazy? So we had to go to the forest and dig a big hole and put them there. And I was so ashamed about this. And this was a turning point for me, very early in life. Earlier than most of my friends. So after that, I spent many years making films, many years making photos, articles about conservation, sport fishing, catch and release, ecological fishing, all those things that was new to my friends. I tried to educate the sport fishing people. And that was quite tough. Now it's another time. Now everybody knows about catch and release. Among the sport fishermen, not among the normal people. Okay. Anyway, since 30 years back, I work as the editor-in-chief for Fiskejournalen. It's the biggest sport fishing magazine. And this is a very nice tool for me, actually. When I started there as editor-in-chief, I said, let's be unjournalistic here now. A journalist write about what happened. Now, we change the rules. We do things. We make things happen. We say what we think. We point out that this is a bad guy, this is a good guy. We take action. Journalists don't do that, but we do that. Okay, let's talk about Sweden. Sweden, like the other Nordic countries, is a fantastic fishing country. We have so many places, lakes, rivers, mountains, seas to fish on. We have a great potential. Today we have good fishing, but it could be much better. We have a lot of problems, the same problems as you have. We need the decision makers to make the right decisions. When it comes to commercial fishing, when it comes to everybody's right to put out some nets, when it comes to hydropower, things like that. Inspired by all of you, here now, let me have some figures. Yeah. Because it's interesting with figures. This is from US Department of Commerce. It's a study from 2011. And it shows something very interesting. 1985, you guys in US started in Florida a commission with 7 people. Yeah, you know the story, of course, better than me. And the goal was, the mission was, maximize the production of the fish in the sea, not maximize the fishing. That was very interesting. So what happened? To make a long story short, 7 normal people without any salary, no connections to either the sport fishing industry or the commercial fishing industry, but they had just the common sense. So they stopped trawling, etc., etc., etc. So what happened? The commercial fishing, 1985, the revenue was $1 billion. 2011, 4.7 billion US dollars. Okay, from 1 to 4.7, 72,000 jobs. Sport fishing, 1995, 3 billion US dollars. 2011, 9 billion US dollars. 80,000 jobs. Just common sense. Everybody gain on this. So, this gives me inspiration in Sweden. Today, I don't know if it's right, but what I found out, today the revenue of sport fishing is 0.5 billion US dollars, and there are 6,000 jobs. If we transfer the transformation they did in Florida, and now you shall think about one thing. Sweden is double the size than Florida. We have 9 million people. In Florida you have 19 million people. But if we transfer these figures without thinking about that we have double the size, we should have 4 billion US dollars in revenue from the sport fishing and 35,000 jobs. And this is the language we can tell the decision makers that makes them a little bit more interested, because they are not interested in sport fishing today. They have all the figures about the commercial. Anyway, so how do we work as journalist terrorists? Let me give you some examples. This is the Minister of Agriculture of Sweden, Mr. Eskil Erlandsson. Okay. We found out that he has been, since 2007, down in EU, voting for the quotas. The scientist says that their advice is 300,000 salmon, 2007, but he said 429,000 is okay. And many years here he doubled the quota. Not good. So, this is 2 pages in the magazine, and we had this in every edition for half a year. At the same time, we started a mailing list on our website. So we called to famous people, very good. Rock stars, for example. In Flames have sent a letter to Eskil. Please do it, you too. And thousands of emails went to his mailbox. And after 35 days, no answer. So, little thing. This is just some of it. I think we have about hundreds of small articles and Facebook and so on. So this is just some examples. Now 5,000 letters to Eskil, still no answer. 70 days, no answer from Eskil. Hello, please. Okay, to make a long story short, and we had some help. I cannot say exactly how we did it, but we had some help from the Swedish king. Yeah. Eskil listened to the scientists. Okay. So now we turn the strategy. Now we start to give him good promotion. A lot of good promotion. Well done, Eskil. So now he's in the corner. When he's down there and voting for the quotas, he's the best in the class. Actually. And we give him all this good support now. So his life is much easier now, from our side. So this is one good example where it works. One other example is some years ago when the government they planned to save 200 million crowns in liming for the acidification. I don't know if you remember this now. And so we worked together with all the organizations, and we made a crazy film. The name was Sex, Sulfur and Bad Guys, I think. Have you seen it? Anybody? No. It was 1 million Swedes saw it. so they stopped this plan. We have saved, for example, the most important stream on the west coast for sea trout with this type of campaigns. We have stopped illegal buildings of hydropower stations. We have stopped false marketing from a number of hydropower stations, for example, Jämtkraft. I think we have written maybe 500 times in the magazine and on the website about this company. Give them a hell of a time, actually. We work on YouTube. For example, they had a commercial with a kayak paddler man in the rapids. And we made a new version for them, the right version, and showed that it looks like this. And now it's forbidden to say in Sweden environmental good energy. It's forbidden to do that. Then we work on the other way too. So after writing about this, all those bad guys, I was so tired about it. I wanted to find a good guy in this business. So we made an inquiry in the magazine and asked the people out there, please, do anybody know about a good hydropower company? Do something good. And we found a small company called Tronos Energy. So in many years they have built the passages for the fish. They cooperate with the sport fishermen, with all the organizations, but they were silent about it. So we had to explain for them, this is unique, you should use this in your marketing. And we certificated them, the first company in Sweden to get this type of environmental certificate from our magazine and from an organization called Älvräddarna, the river sailors in Sweden. Right now we are working with another campaign. It's to 3 ministers. This is our vision. We want fish. And so we ask our readers to send a letter. I think right now the ministers have got around 10,000 of emails. And this is one of the ministers. Näringsminister, what is that in English?
Commerce, Minister of Commerce.
Minister of Commerce. And a few weeks ago, we had a big sport fishing fair. And we managed to get her to this fair, to the opening ceremony. And that was really good, because in the eyes of the sport fisherman in Sweden, she is like the enemy. But this helped us before the opening ceremony to talk to her for maybe 2 months and prepare this opening ceremony. So then we turned to good guys and explained the situation for her, gave her the figures from Florida and opened up her eyes. So we can be good guys and bad guys. And we can be journalists, but we can be not. So that was some examples. Questions?
Comment.
Yeah.
When you showed the fisheries economics in the U.S.,
Yeah.
I just want to point out that when that came out, I didn't have the new version of IMPLAN, so I went back and re-estimated the impact. So if you just look at the 2011 publication, the direct impacts will be different than if you look at what I put up above that, which on the website is called revised rec tables, which are slightly lower because of the new version of IMPLAN. We were using old multipliers from 2006 when that first version came out. Then we got a new version of IMPLAN based on 2008, and that in most cases lowered the numbers. So if you're wondering why there's 2 versions of the rec numbers on that website, that's why. So you should use the ones that say revised rec tables. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is for Florida. It's still high. It might not be 9 billion though. But just wanted to clarify that.
The interesting thing is the increase.
Right.
magnitude of
Right, yeah.
My daughter was trained as a journalist,
Yeah.
and she left the profession because she felt she had to give the two sides of everything.
Yeah.
And she couldn't stand doing it. And encourage you to see the light, and you try to find both the good and the bad. But when it's bad, you say it's bad. And I think journalists do a disservice when they try to study both sides of everything. Because the public can't see it.
So we draw a map to them and advise them. For us, it's much more fun to go to the work because we think that we can achieve something much more than before.
Another comment. One of the things we tried to do in 2011 to get anglers to answer the survey was try to work with some journalists, like fishing magazines that anglers read, to say that we're doing this survey, and if you get the survey, to please fill it out. Because sometimes people will get surveys and they're like, why should I fill this out? And they just toss it in the trash. And so you could, if you decide to work with people doing surveys in Sweden, you could help by promoting the survey a lot to get.
We really need this figure, really, actually. Yep.
Just something that reminds me from New Zealand, election years, just fishing, the big TV program in New Zealand. They always take out the potential prime ministers, take them out on the water fishing. So it's a half an hour fishing with political leaders and ask them the hard questions at the same time that they're fishing. But in New Zealand, sport fishing is such a business that they know they have to turn over the program to go on out. But it's a very effective way of getting a good grip on the guy that you're going to vote for or not vote for. And I can see that with your magazine. There's so much web TV and it's so super popular. So, but this campaign and that with the salmon, I don't know if you showed the salmon letters, didn't you? It was very good for us. We had letters to EU politicians, I think we used through your campaigns, through your magazine as well. And that was really, really good for us.
And the YouTube film was also rather funny. It was very serious, but also funny. You laugh when you see it because it's so stupid. It is stupid. More questions?
A little comment. In Holland, they also bring out both MPs and MIPs as members of the European Parliament.
Yeah.
And after they have had them on this boat, they send them a very high quality, nice picture. And then it's fun when they come back to their office to lobby them later, months later, they find this picture in their office very often.
Yeah.
So it's always good to follow up with a little souvenir.
Yeah.
And especially now, you have to remember we have elections next month, and I would encourage everybody to take a talk with MIPs and candidates. There are lists now of the candidates.
I can show you what we do in the new edition that came out today. A few days ago. The first page is vote for better fishing, and here's a guideline. We have a big article in six pages on the website, but we know that it's too long for people to read, so we make a very simple guide for them here. Vote for better fishing, and here is why you should vote. And here's green light for Isabella Lövin, and why. Yellow light, you have to think about it, and warning. Don't vote on those people.
I love it.
For example, one person that I directly advise you not to vote on is Gunnar Hökmark. Over and over, he votes for continuously
Illegal fishing.
not illegal, but
Overfishing. Commercial club.
overfishing. And afterwards, he says, "Oops, I pushed on the wrong button." He voted 7 times and 3 times pushed on the wrong button instead. So we make it simple for our readers. Thank you.